Hello and welcome to Community Link. This is Community Mission's opportunity to talk a little bit about our services that we bring to the community and how you out in the community might be able to help us to do just that. My name is Christian Hoffman. I'm the Vice President for Public Relations and Development at Community Missions and also the host of today's show. And I am joined by a couple of gentlemen here to my right. To my immediate right is Brian Marrale. He's our Operations Manager at Community Missions. I'm sorry, Operations Administrator at Community Missions, a recent upgrade. And then Eric Boerdner is our Vice President of Specialized Services. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll get to you in just a moment. We have a few things that we'd like to acknowledge and to talk about here that are going on with Community Missions over the next few weeks. First off, want to give a thank you to the Grand Island Rotary Club. Did a big Undie Sunday collection for us and brought many trash bags worth of collected items, brand new socks and underwear, t-shirts, all the different needs that a homeless shelter might have. So they really helped us in many different ways to be able to help all those that come to us. So thank you so much for doing that for us. We are always in need of winter coats and clothes and boots and gloves and all of those wonderful things this time of year. We have a lot of people that continue to come to us in our clothes closet, in our community kitchen and such that have those needs, especially for these next couple of months as the temperatures do not look to be rising anytime soon at least. So if you can spare anything that might be laying around your house, or the next time that you're out shopping, you see a wonderful deal on a new coat that could go to a young child or someone that might be struggling, those donations can always be dropped off at 1570 Buffalo Avenue in downtown Niagara Falls. We would sure appreciate that. And then upcoming, we have a couple of events to mention for us as we are shooting this. Next week is Valentine's Day, which is a fun time for many people coming up, and our SNUG program, which is our gun violence reduction initiative. They have an event from 2 to 4 on that Friday where they're going to be providing food and drinks and a reception out to the community. So they're located at 1702 Pine Avenue. If you'd like some more information on that, you can call our main number, 285-3403, extension, just the main extension there would be fine for that, and they can direct you to SNUG. Or you can always go on our website and our social media accounts on Facebook or Instagram are probably our top ones there. You can get more information on that. And then finally, what we have always called our Sweetheart Dinner for the past 27 years, we are now rebranding into an Evening of Compassion. The Sweetheart Dinner was always held on Valentine's weekend typically, or the weekend before Valentine's Day, and that has not been the case the past few years, so we need a refresh of the name. So it's an Evening of Compassion. Of course, compassion in action has been our tagline, our motto for many years, and so we're kind of playing into that. But if anybody is out there, has been associated with the Sweetheart Dinner before, it's basically going to be the same format. So we still need about 100 to 120 baskets. We need over 100 gift cards and such, and many other prizes and games will be going on as well. So lots of donation opportunities there. We would love for you to attend also. So again, communitymissions.org would be the best place to find information about that event coming up. It's going to be on March 21st at the Niagara Falls Convention Center, which is across the street from the Sheridan, Niagara Falls, where we've held it over the past few years at least. So we're going to be across the street, Niagara Falls Convention Center, for our Evening of Compassion on March 21st. Tickets are now available, as well as sponsorship opportunities and such. So with that introduction, let's get back into today's discussion, which is talking a little bit about the projects that we've had around our physical plant, which is exciting for me, being here for 12 years, you gentlemen as well for even longer, to see some changes. Hopefully the community out there has seen some changes to what has happened already at Community Missions at our main site on Buffalo Avenue, and what we have to look forward to as well. So again, gentlemen, welcome and thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. So Brian, I'll start with you. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about your background with Community Missions and what it is that you do now?
Sure. I began working here in September of 2012. Okay. I started in maintenance while I was working through college. And after college, I became a case manager, started working for Eric here in the reentry programs, and quickly started moving up, became a manager eventually of the shelter. And now I assist the VP of Specialized Services and the VP of Operations with day-to-day operations and a lot of different projects at the main building and a lot of our offsites.
filling in a lot of gaps.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Wonderful. Great. And Eric, why don't you do the same?
Sure. I've been with Community Missions for 16 years, 2008-ish. I started in the reentry program as the county's reentry coordinator. And, with that position, kind of things all gelled together into one where I soon took over, all our offender-based programs, our shelter, our community kitchen, food pantry, and a bunch of our new programs that were developed over time.
Great. If you would, let's begin with the reentry kind of background and such. So walk us through the different programs that we have and how maybe those have evolved over the years.
Sure. So 2008, when I came on, is when we started the reentry program, and that program is, in place to help returning citizens who are coming back to the area reintegrate back into society and put things in place for them to help them be successful and not return to prison. Right. That program, has grown and it's remained since 2008. We still serve as Niagara County's reentry program. There's a new coordinator in place, and she runs the task force and kind of coordinates everything. Through that we evolved into programs with our DOCS community-based residential program, which helps house individuals who are high risk, high needs coming out of prison, and kind of helps stabilize them and get them in a place, again, to make them successful. Sure. With that, we kind of identified, there was a specific gap with returning citizens and work. And then since developed our Tower program, which was born to specifically help returning citizens get back into the workforce. Through that program, we put them through some soft skills training, a 3-week training, soft skills. Helps them everything from, identifying what kind of job to how you interview, how you interact in an interview, how you answer the tough question of why you serve time in prison, to once you get a job, how do you interact with your boss? How do you deal with money once you start making money? So there's that, and then they go into various different directions. We have a culinary route, and we have a operations route, and then our newest CDL training that's coming on. The culinary route with a partnership with Niagara County Community College, actually SUNY Niagara now, I believe. They do a 2-week boot camp where they learn everything from basic knife skills to breaking down an entire chicken and cooking all kinds of meals in between. They also get a couple certifications in that. And every individual that goes through Tower is forklift trained. And after that boot camp, they are placed in a business in the community where they train under that business, under the chef in that business, and they receive a small stipend while doing that. Our operations track is much the same, minus the boot camp aspect of it. They immediately go from the soft skills into a training with, a contractor, landscaper, through our agency as well to get that training. The overall goal is employment at the end. We have been extremely successful to the point where this past January, or last January, we opened it up beyond just returning citizens to anybody that we serve. Through that, we grew our SNUG program that you talked about, our gun violence reduction program that has been very successful. Happy to report in our target area this past quarter there had been no shootings. It's amazing. Which is a really big thing. And gun violence throughout New York State is at an all-time low, and that really is credit to the work that our SNUG team does and all the SNUG teams do in the state, out in the street canvassing, working with high-risk participants. Yeah. One of our newer programs, our PATH program, which was born out of the opioid crisis, and it is a response team for overdoses, drug overdoses, and they also work with individuals to get into treatment and anything they can to kind of break the barriers of not being able to be sober. Sure. With that, it spiraled into a new project that we call our Lantern Project. It was identified that individuals struggling with sobriety don't always from 9 to 5 decide that it's time to get help. It's usually when the lights are off, when it's dark, outside of business hours. And we developed a program, the Lantern Project. We want to be that light, where if an individual at any point in time in a day or night decides that they're ready, that they have a safe place to go, which will be located at our main building, 1570 Buffalo Avenue in Niagara Falls. And they will immediately be hooked up with a peer that works in the PATH program who has struggled with sobriety and has been clean for some time, and will help them navigate the process of, getting help. And that program is hoping to launch at March 1st. Right. So stay tuned to our website, social media for exact launch date, but the goal is March 1st, right. To be live and ready to go.
That's great. So yeah, the Lantern Project actually plays into one of the questions I was going to ask you specifically is kind of the interplay, right, between the different programs that you and your team kind of want to bring on, and then the interplay with operations and maintenance, right, of what needs to happen for that. So over the 12 years that I've been here, I mean, there have been a lot of changes, honestly, most of them in the physical plant within the past couple of years. So you want to talk a little bit about what has changed recently?
Yeah, we've graciously, received some funding, not as much as we might need to cover everything, but we've graciously received some funding to start some projects at our main building and some of our offsites. Most importantly, we've replaced our entire parking lot within the last couple of years. That was needed very badly. We had a lot of potholes, similar to some of the roads, but we've been able to do that. It looks very nice now. We've been able to get a brand new sign. We've had roofing repairs done to help with the interior of our building. We've received some funding to, like Eric was alluding to, the Lantern Project. We've been able to create a new room in our shelter for the individuals that would like to utilize that program to start their recovery path. And we've been able to, renovate some of the shelter rooms as well, and some of the common areas that the individuals that receive services from us often interact with either other clients or staff. And we've even been able to repair some of the shelter rooms, which is really important because we feel that when an individual, there's a stigma around coming to a shelter, and when you're coming to a shelter and you notice that, the lobby's nice and there's TV and there's Wi-Fi and some of the rooms are clean and they're newer and updated and the bathrooms aren't in disarray, we think that it can help lead to developing daily living skills and kind of help people step into the next aspect of their life when they leave the shelter.
Absolutely. What I talk about is I had never worked in a homeless shelter or a nonprofit in general before I started here. So my mind's eye, my idea of a homeless shelter would be a big gymnasium with cots or maybe dormitory style. And this is so far removed from that, being in the old motels. Yep. So it's so much more dignity than you're going to see at other shelters and such, and safety and security wise as well makes a lot of sense. But yeah, to be able to keep up with some of those things makes such a big difference for people as well. One thing I want to mention too, so I'm trying to think for the community out there that might be watching, maybe you drive by Buffalo Avenue and you would hopefully see the electric sign at least, and maybe the parking lot that's been recently redone, but may not have seen the security measures that we've done in the front lobby as well, if you want to talk about what we've been able to do over the past couple of years with that also.
Yeah, we obviously felt that we needed to have security for not only our staff, but most importantly our residents that reside in the shelter. So we've went through some security measures. We now have 24/7 security